All right. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for the Supercharge Your Mobile Strategy with Salesforce1 session. I hope you're having an awesome day here at the Salesforce1 World Tour in Chicago. And over the next 40 minutes, we're really excited to tell you about the Salesforce1 mobile app and platform. My name is Chris Landy. I'm in mobile product marketing here at Salesforce. And I have a couple of my coworkers here, Satesha Paralekar and Colleen Geiselhart, who are also here to help tell you about the product. And we have two of our amazing customers here to also tell their stories. We have Natalie from Talent Plus and Jennifer from FFF Enterprises. So before we get started, we did the quick survey at the beginning of the session. So if we could bring up the laptop and see those survey results. So we asked, what mobile app do you use to access your CRM data? And it looks like 76% of people in this room are already using the Salesforce1 mobile app. I love you guys. You guys are awesome. So this is great. You guys are already familiar with the mobile app, and we're going to dive a little bit deeper and really talk about getting started with the app, customizing the app, and then we'll talk about the Salesforce1 platform as well. So if we could go back to the slides. Perfect. So of course, like every session you've been to today, we need to start with our safe harbor statement. Salesforce.com is a publicly traded company, so please make all of your purchasing decisions based on currently available features. So I want to start with something I think we're all feeling here in this room, which is the rise of mobile computing. And I don't think you guys would be here in this session if you weren't feeling this. I mean, mobile is definitely on the rise. We are in the middle of a mobile revolution. And it's been this big shift from the web world to the mobile world. In fact, last year, the sales of smartphones tripled the sales of PCs, which is just absolutely astounding. And we're carrying around these mobile devices that are even more powerful than the computers that we have back at our desks. And we're attached to these mobile devices. In fact, everyone with a smartphone, out of everyone with a smartphone, 91% of them have it within arm's reach all the time. And I guarantee that 100% of this room does. And my smartphone's actually across the room, and it's giving me a little bit of separation anxiety. I don't like having it that far. And this morning in the keynote, Lynn talked about this whole new third wave of computing, the Internet of Things. So we're not only seeing our smartphones getting connected to the cloud, but we're seeing devices and products. Lynn talked about the GE jet engines that are connected to the cloud now. We have light bulbs that are connected to the cloud, our Nest thermostats. And by 2020, 50 billion things will be connected. And when I first heard that number of 50 billion things, it sounds absolutely astounding. And then last week, I bought a house. And the first thing that I did is I installed an alarm system. And suddenly, I have 20 sensors in my house that are all connected to the internet. So I have those 20 sensors, I have a music system, I have a Nest thermostat, I have my Fitbit. And I just thought about, just for me in my house, I have about 25 things that are connected to the internet. And so suddenly that 50 billion doesn't sound that crazy anymore. And you know, it's not just about those things. It's about the people behind the things. People like me and people like you that are behind those Nest thermostats, behind the alarm systems that we're installing in our house. It's all about the people. And that at Salesforce is where we see the most possibility about really connecting with your people that are behind these things. And that's why we're calling it the Internet of Customers. And you know, we can get a lot done from our mobile devices. We can do things like hail a cab, we can order dinner, we can pay for parking. But yet, when it comes to using these mobile devices for work, the enterprise apps are just really behind. How many people in this room have 10 apps that you use for your personal life every day? This could be like Facebook or Instagram. Everyone, right? And how many people have 10 apps that you use to get your job done for work every day? One guy, maybe. So maybe you have email and calendaring, but really the mobile apps just aren't there. They're way behind consumer apps. And this is what we're really calling the app gap. There's a big number of apps that are critical for getting our jobs done. In fact, we surveyed 1,300 global executives. We partnered with The Economist to do this survey. And we asked them, how many mobile apps are critical for your business, or are mobile apps critical for your business? And out of those 1,300 respondents, 60% of them said, yes, mobile apps are critical for my business. They're critical for connecting to my customers, for connecting to my employees. And then we said, great, well, how many of those have you actually deployed? And out of those respondents, only half of them had actually deployed those critical mobile apps. So there's this big app gap, is what we're calling it, an app gap between the apps that we're viewing as critical and the apps that we've actually been able to deploy. And the truth is, this stuff is really hard. It's hard to build amazing connected enterprise apps. You have to worry about form factors. You have to worry about platforms, operating systems. Should you build for iOS? Should you build for Android, Windows, BlackBerry? And once you figure out what you want to build it for a tablet, for smartphone, and how are you going to get those great mobile developers to build it for you? And what about security? There's a lot of things to worry about. This stuff is hard. And that is really what inspired us to work for the last year and a half on the Salesforce1 customer platform. We went back and we really opened up the platform to enable this future of connecting to your devices, connecting to your products, and connecting to all of your mobile devices. So this really started with our own developers. Our developers wanted to do really innovative things with Salesforce. They wanted to connect mobile apps to Salesforce. They wanted to connect products to Salesforce. And a couple years ago, they just didn't have the ability to do that. The APIs weren't there. And so we went back and we added an extra layer of APIs, in fact, 10 times more APIs, to really open up the platform so our developers could build these innovative mobile apps. And not only has this been a breakthrough for developers, this has been a breakthrough for our partners who are building on our platform that are now able to make mobile-ready apps. And it's a breakthrough for admins, like we're going to talk to a couple admins later in the session, who it's been a breakthrough for them building their own apps within their organizations. And also for employees, because this new platform enabled us to build the Salesforce1 mobile app, which, according to our survey, 76% of you are using. You guys are awesome. So with the Salesforce1 mobile app, you can really run your business from your phone. Right out of the box, you have all of your CRM, all of your custom data. You have your standard objects like your accounts, your opportunities, your cases. You also have your custom objects. And everything is packaged up in a beautiful, modern, feed-first UI with a notifications platform, and also these amazing publisher actions that help you get things done. And right out of the box, it's easy to use. It's intuitive. It looks like consumer apps that you know and love, like Facebook and Twitter. It's very easy to use, and if you are not one of the 76% that are using it right now, I encourage you to download it either from the App Store or from Google Play and get started. And one of the goals that we had with the Salesforce1 mobile app is that we really wanted to unify the Salesforce mobile experience. For those of you who have been customers of Salesforce for a while, you'll know we've had a myriad of mobile offerings. We had great native apps like Chatter Mobile and Salesforce Classic. We had an awesome HTML5 app in Salesforce Touch. And we had some great productivity tools like Logger and ForcePad. In fact, if you went to the App Store and you searched for Salesforce, you would see about 6 or 7 hits come up. And it's kind of hard to figure out what to use. So we really wanted to take the best of all of those mobile apps and bring it into one flagship application, the Salesforce1 mobile app. And you know, this mobile app is not just a killer app, because it is. It's a killer app, but it's also a platform that you can build on. And just like Salesforce is both an app and a platform, the Salesforce mobile app is a platform that you can build on. And one of the most important things about a platform is that you can build on it, you can customize it, and you can make it your own. Regardless of the industry you're in, regardless of the size of your business, regardless of your specific business processes, you can really build on it and make it yours. So I want to take a couple seconds and talk about the 3 main ways to customize the Salesforce1 mobile app. I'm going to go through each of these, and then we're also going to show you in a demonstration as well. The number 1 way, and my favorite way, is through the custom business actions. And this is the publisher that I mentioned earlier, which is really your launch pad for driving business forward and getting things done. Whether you're creating a new lead when you're in line at Starbucks, or maybe you're escalating a case from the parking lot outside your customer, you can drive business forward using that publisher action. And also custom apps. We know that you guys have built tons of apps on the Salesforce platform. You've built custom objects, you've built custom pages, and we want to make sure that you can bring all of those pages and objects and apps into your mobile devices and into the future. And last, App Exchange apps. Does anyone have any App Exchange apps installed in their organizations? Yes, a lot of you, great. App Exchange apps are important. They really extend the functionality of Salesforce and give us that specialized functionality that we need for our businesses. And we wanted to make sure that you could take those mobile apps and install mobile-ready versions and make them available to your users right inside the Salesforce1 mobile app. So the first thing that I want to talk about is custom actions. And now this is where I really geek out. I love custom actions. I actually used to be an admin. Before I came to Salesforce, I was a Salesforce admin at a small software company. And I just loved how Salesforce, you could do things that look really hard, and your users think like, oh my gosh, she must have spent hours doing that. And I kind of snicker because I knew it only took 5 minutes. Custom actions are just like that. Do we have any admins in the room here today? Gosh, look at all of you. Love it. Admins are amazing. Thank you all for showing up here. This session is really for you. We have a lot of things that you can do in your own organization and take home immediately and make some changes. So publisher actions are one of those things. You can build these in minutes and instantly deploy them to your users right on their mobile devices. So you can build actions like creating new records or updating new records. But you can also kick off sophisticated workflows like approvals and custom processes. For example, at Salesforce, we have a custom process for logging a deal support request. So we have a custom action that you can do that. And you can also make these relevant to different roles. So someone in, let's see, maybe Richard here is in sales. Richard's going to see completely different things when he opens that publisher than me in marketing sees, because I need to do different things than Richard needs to do. And you can also make these contextual based on the record that you're on, because you're going to want to do different things on a case than you'll do on an account. The next thing I want to talk about is custom apps. So we know a lot of you have spent tons of time building declarative apps using clicks and objects using clicks and also code. So it was very important to take all of that work and all of your investments in your Salesforce implementation and be able to bring them to the future. And so out of the box, when you open up that Salesforce1 mobile app, all of your custom objects will be right there waiting for you. And if you've developed apps on maybe Visualforce or Flexi Pages, you can optimize those, you can make them responsive, and you can also bring those into your mobile apps. And the last thing I want to cover is App Exchange apps. Now we have over 2,000 partners who have built apps on the App Exchange. And we wanted to make sure that those partners can use the Salesforce platform and make mobile-ready versions of their apps. We already have over 30 partners who have already built apps, and we have hundreds more coming throughout the year. So we have partners like Dropbox, DocuSign, Financial Force, ServiceMax, all of the rest of the partners you see here on the board. And you can bring the functionality and the power of those partners right into your mobile apps. So I told you a bit about how to customize the app. Now I'd like to bring up my partner in crime, Satesha Parlekar, and she and Colleen are actually going to walk you through how to do these customizations in the Salesforce1 mobile app.
Great, thanks, Chris. How about a hand for Chris? So like Chris mentioned, over the next 10 minutes, Colleen and I are going to show you a little bit more about the Salesforce1 mobile app, take you on a quick tour, and show you how very quickly you can customize some publisher actions, take some of those custom apps and make them mobile, and install a few App Exchange apps for your organization. So in this demo, we're going to actually, you saw ADP in the beginning video, so we're actually going to put the demo scenario of ADP. Now ADP, as many of you know, is one of the leaders in human capital management and payroll processing. So we're going to go into that demo scenario. And I am a sales rep at ADP, and as soon as I open up that Salesforce1 mobile app, I have the chatter feed. And here I get all the updates of things that are really important to me, like about an opportunity I'm working on, or a quote that's being requested approval for. So I have all of the different updates that are important to me right here as I open up the app. And not only do you have updates here in the feed, but you'll also get specific updates that need your attention. If Colleen taps right on the bell there, you'll see specific updates that need your attention, like other people who've requested approval for a quote. So that's business processes coming through the feed, as well as things like app mentions and comments. So here, I clicked on this quote approval, and before I would have to open up my laptop and look for the different record that I review, and then maybe I would approve it. But here, right from my feed, I can review the quote approval and approve it right there. And that way, I'm moving business forward. It doesn't stay stagnant and wait for me to get back to my desk. I can do this whether I'm in a taxi or on the metro or wherever I'm going to get work done very quickly. So that's kind of the feed and the notifications. But like Chris mentioned, automatically out of the box, you have access to all your CRM. So in that navigation menu, as Colleen scrolls down, you'll see all of the CRM objects, those standard objects, and even custom objects, like the invoices and merchandise, all in that navigation menu. And below, you'll also see apps. So you'll see tasks and dashboards that right out of the box you have instant access to. So in that navigation menu, if I'm starting my day, trying to get some work done, maybe I'm on my way to work, and I want to check up on a deal that I'm working on, I can quickly use that global search to search for my opportunity with Mammoth Pictures. I could do that, or I could even go into the object, the opportunity object, and look at my list views. Now, list views are great. We all have, who here has list views in Salesforce? Almost everyone. And list views are great because on my mobile device, I now have access to all my recently used list views. So I can quickly check my top opportunities, my new opportunities, and get a quick view of my business. So now let's actually look into one of those opportunities. Let's look into that Mammoth Pictures opportunity. Here is what an opportunity or a record in general would look like in Salesforce1. I have access to all the record information. I can swipe to get more information about related information like activity history and what's up, the competitors that are on this deal. And if I swipe all the way to the other side, I'll get all the chatter posts that are relevant to this opportunity. Like, see, Colleen has posted this new data sheet on the record right there. I get that instant update. So that's great. I've accessed a lot of information, but what if I want to move business forward? I want to do something. Like Chris mentioned, the publisher, that little blue plus button at the bottom right-hand corner, is really my launch pad to getting stuff done inside of Salesforce1. So here I can take some actions like post a comment, create a new contact for this opportunity, maybe log a call. And then there's these 5 other spaces as I swipe. Those spaces represent infinite opportunities to create new actions. So if there's a business process, maybe I want to get an executive sponsor involved in this deal to really close it quickly before the quarter's over. I want to request an executive sponsor, but how do I do that? I could email, or I could go to my admin, Colleen, and set up a business process for this right on the mobile device. Create a exec sponsor request publisher action. So we're going to go back to the desktop, and for those of you admins out there, this probably will seem pretty familiar. All Colleen has to do is edit this layout. We've actually created this action beforehand, but to add it to the layout and to add it onto my mobile device, all she has to do is drag and drop that publisher action right onto the page layout right there and save. And when she does that, that publisher action is going to appear in 2 places. The first place is actually in the chatter feed, right on the opportunity. So from my desktop, I can easily do this. But what about if I want that on my mobile device, right? We're all on the go. And right there, as Colleen refreshed the publisher, I see that new exec sponsor request, that green action right at the top where she placed it. That's instant and in real time. So as admins, you now have the power to create these mobile-ready actions right on the fly. You instantly can say yes to all these great requests because now with the Salesforce1 mobile app, in just a few clicks, in just a few minutes, you'll be able to create actions just like Colleen did. And now as a sales rep, I have the power to take action and request an exec sponsor as I'm leaving the meeting. So that way, it improves my efficiency and productivity. So we just went over how to create publisher actions, but what about those custom apps? You've built tons of Visualforce pages, created all these custom objects, but how do you move those to mobile? So let's take a use case. We'll go back into setup of a Visualforce page. So my admin, Colleen, has created this awesome Visualforce page that shows me my opportunities nearby when I'm on the road. But it's not very convenient to open up my laptop and try to find that. So, find a signal and then log in. I really want the power of this Visualforce page on my phone. So to do this, first of all, since this is a great use case for mobile, this Visualforce page, Colleen can go into the Visualforce page, She wants to make sure that this Visualforce page is responsive and optimized for mobile. And all she has to do is check that box, available for Salesforce mobile apps. And when she saves that, that then makes it available for her to add to that navigation. So she's going to save that and go right into the mobile navigation, where she can then add her, we'll just refresh, and then she can add that opportunities nearby, there it is, in real time, opportunities nearby Visualforce page to the mobile navigation. And now what that's going to do instantly on my mobile device, when I go back and I refresh the navigation menu on my mobile phone, there it is, it's going to pop up right near the app section if we scroll all the way down. There it is. So now I have the power of that Visualforce page on my mobile device whenever I'm on the road trying to figure out what other customers to call on, and so I can close those deals. So that's a great example of a Visualforce page that you can now take, optimize for mobile, and put on mobile devices through the Salesforce1 mobile app. And the third way that Chris talked about optimizing the mobile app for your organization is through AppExchange apps. So if we go back in the setup, AppExchange apps that are mobile ready are just as easy to install as the regular AppExchange apps. And there are tons on the AppExchange and so many more being built by our partners. So Colleen's going to take all of these as an admin, swipe them over onto the mobile navigation. We've got Canandy, Financial Force, and Evernote right in there. And as soon as she adds that, on my end, when I go back to my mobile navigation and I refresh it again, all it takes is one quick refresh. I'm going to see all those new apps in real time right in that app section. There they are. We've got Canandy, Financial Force, ServiceMax, Evernote. We saw Evernote on stage this morning, an amazing application for productivity, one of my personal favorites. And some of these have some really amazing functionality. Let's take Exactly, for instance, for sales compensation. Your sales reps can now get an instant view of their sales compensation for the quarter, how they're doing, what their rankings are, right on their phone. They don't have to ping their finance partner. They don't have to ping HR. They have all of that information right here. Another great example of an AppExchange app that I really like is Canandy, because Canandy gives you all that information from your backend right on your mobile phone. And as a sales rep, it's really important for me to have that information when I go into a customer meeting. And these AppExchange integrations are not just left nav integrations. These integrations can even be publisher actions. So if we go back to my Mammoth Pictures account and open up that publisher, and once we see, we're actually going to see a different configurations, because like Chris talked about, you're going to want to do different things on opportunities like we saw than you're going to want to do on an account record. So here instantly we see that Financial Force send invoices publisher action. And if we swipe, we can do a new sales order with Canandy, or we can post a note from Evernote. So instantly you see amazing capabilities from that left nav and that publisher through these AppExchange apps. So those are 3 quick ways that you as an admin or someone in your organization can actually take the Salesforce1 mobile app, make it your own, add really easy publisher actions, make your Visualforce pages mobile and custom apps, as well as installing our mobile-ready AppExchange apps into your org to make this your own. So thanks, Colleen, and back to you, Chris.
Thank you. Awesome demo as always, Sateja. So that was a look at a demo. But what I really want to do is bring up a couple of our customers who have actually done this stuff in their own org. So I want to welcome Jennifer Wobser and Natalie, I'm going to mispronounce your last name. Regier. Natalie's from Talent Plus and Jennifer from FFF Enterprises. So welcome. Thank you for joining us. And tell everyone how you got started with the Salesforce1 mobile app.
Oh my gosh, I'll start with that one. For those of you in the audience that don't know me, my name is Jennifer Wobser, and I work for a pharmaceutical distributor in Southern California. I have been an admin for 10 years, since 2004. This would be my second mobile launch in 10 years. So when I was at Dreamforce 2013, this last November, when I walked in and saw them show the Salesforce1 on the big screens, I was like, the heaven has opened up and the angels are singing. I have a second chance to do a mobile implementation during my admin career. Now, how many people get a second chance to do something the correct way? So I immediately ran over to the dev zone and said, show me how to do what I just saw. And I installed it on my phone, and then I realized it just came over, just how I already had it built. And I thought, wow, I didn't really have to do much of anything. The custom objects I had built in there were already through as apps, no coding on my part. And then, of course, the kicker here is I used to be a sales rep myself. I was a sales rep for 3 years before an admin. So I was like a kid in the candy store. I thought, this thing is going to replace the Thomas guide, the binders of all of my accounts, and also my day planner. Right here in my hand. So that was how we got started. So if I can do it, I'm an admin advocate, I'm just like you, then you guys can do it too.
And that's awesome. So you guys have built out a lot of, I know you both built out custom actions. So talk about what kind of use cases were you looking to solve when you're building out those custom actions? What kind of things what goals did you have?
Yeah, so just to give people an idea, I'm Natalie, and Talent Plus, we actually do personality type of assessments, and so that's what we deliver to our clients. But as for use cases, I'm always looking for adoption, really, and so that's really what Salesforce1 was driving for me, is just how do I get Salesforce in the hands of my users more quickly and faster so that it's more in front of them. They remember, and every meeting that they have, all those important details, it's with them where they go. And so that's where I use Salesforce1. I like to go against the grain in the way that a lot of people teach you how to launch something. I just turn it on, and then I see who uses it and what is their interest. And actually what I found was I didn't have to do a lot of training. A lot of people who weren't very tech savvy, they came and said, honestly, it's pretty easy. I just kind of figured it out. And so that's kind of how I've used it, is really bringing in adoption and then using it that way. And I think you were maybe asking about actions, because I know that's something you like.
But that was awesome.
Okay.
That was awesome to hear too, because I wanted to also ask about how you rolled it out to your users, because we get that a lot. Do you have training? How do I get my users using this thing? And that's awesome to hear that you just gave it to them and they figured out how to use it.
So with the other thing is with the training, we've had the release readiness. There's been some success release readiness webinars that Salesforce has been holding lately, which Jennifer was a part of. I was a part of one as well. And somebody had suggested launching some of these new, our personal custom apps and publisher actions with a Salesforce release. And so I just tried that. I turn it on. I don't wait to turn these features on. I just turn them on, let users get used to it, and then I formally launch it and train it with a Salesforce release. And I just did that for the first time, and it was awesome. It was just way better training. Mm-hmm.
And how did you roll it out to your users? Was it kind of the same way? Just turn it on and give it to them? Or did you have...
So it was Thanksgiving right after Dreamforce, and my mother is actually one of our sales reps, believe it or not, and she's my toughest critic. And over Thanksgiving, she was complaining about all these things. I can't get my price lists while I'm on the road, and I can't place an order when I'm on the road, and it's a holiday, and my mom is like, woe's me, I can't do all these things. And so I thought, did you see this new mobile app I downloaded at Dreamforce? This could solve it for you. So I went right in there and I showed her what I had, just basically downloaded that was already pre-built in our org. And her eyes lit up and she said, can I have this? Can I start using it? And I said, yes, you're going to be my first tester. Now, this is not how normally companies do things, but we're privately owned and I have family members there. So after she approved it, then I gave it to a couple of other reps and a few more and a few more. And then by February, I was pretty convinced that the sales team was just going to love it. So we did an official rollout to about 50 sales reps, all at the same time, and the executives and our inside sales. And the thing that was so cool was that I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to beg them. I didn't have to say, okay, we're going to follow all these instructions. And I just gave it to them and said, what do you think? And they said, I love it. And they just walk away with it, using it. The training was minimal. The reception was taken, fantastically. And for once I was the good guy, that don't shoot the messenger. I was the good guy, the admin hero. So if I can do it, everybody here can do it too. I don't know how many times I can say that message to everyone here, that it's easy. It might look daunting, easy, 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 and your users will love it.
So tell us, so what are you going to do next? You've already rolled out a bunch of custom actions and custom apps. What's next for you in your implementations?
So I think the easiest thing is, for me, is coming up with the use cases, right? I think a lot of people have a challenge with that, but for me, I'm like, all right, let's pull up your screen. What worksheets, you know, where's your Excel sheets? Because that's what I want to see. Yeah. That's where I go, is always, where are your Excel sheets? And so, you know, for us, another thing that's coming up is the intranet. I don't know who all has one, and you know who all logs into one. And, you know, very different story. We have a couple of valuable things. So that's one of the things we'll be moving into, is taking the intranet and reviving it into something useful.
Yeah, that's
Great.
really
What
cool.
do you have coming up next, Jennifer?
Oh wow, which thing? There isn't enough time in the day for everything that I want to build
Maybe
on there.
Your favorite thing that you're going to be implementing next?
Well, I'm in the process of building a new app in there, which is called a sales trends alert, which tells the rep when they get ready to walk into a hospital everything they need to know. It pops up and it says the last inside sales reps called an hour ago. This customer placed an order 10 minutes ago. You are standing here. The last time you were standing here was 30 days. So basically you walk in to go into your pharmacy at the hospital and you say, okay, what do I need to know right now before I go into this account? And it's right there for you.
That's awesome. It sounds like Foursquare and Salesforce and push notifications all come together.
It's everything I ever wanted when I was
amazing.
a sales rep. Everything.
Well, thank you so much, both of you, for joining us. And they will be around after the session. I'm sure you're going to get bombarded with questions. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.
All right, so thank you again. And you just heard about some of the use cases that Jennifer and Natalie had when they were building out their Salesforce1 mobile app and their actions and their apps. So I want to talk about how you can get started doing that for your own company. And we call it building out your portfolio of mobile apps. And on the screen here, you can see an example of a mobile app portfolio. This is a use case that we did with one of our customers. We sat down with them and we said, okay, what kind of things do you want to make mobile? What are the things you want your sales reps to do from their mobile devices? And they came up with these 7 use cases. They wanted their sales reps to be able to log calls, access content, do face-to-face selling, and also have a customer app. And they were actually ready to sit down and do 7 different mobile apps. And the great thing about the Salesforce1 platform is that for all of those internal employee-facing apps like logging calls, accessing your dashboard, doing e-signatures, all of those things that are CRM related, all of those use cases can be done using the Salesforce1 mobile app. And then you have a couple other use cases like face-to-face selling, maybe using a digital sales aid, or a customer app, an app that you want to give to your customers that they can download from the App Store or for Google Play that looks and feels like your company. Those are the 2 use cases where you want to do something a little different. You want to use our Salesforce1 mobile services and actually build out a custom app. So I want to walk through just a couple examples of some apps that have been built using the Salesforce1 platform, and these are more of those customized apps. So the first one we have is a customer called Trunk Club. They're based here in Chicago. They're a great company that's based on the idea that men hate shopping. They do. I mean, my husband hates shopping. I actually have to go do it for him. And so this company and this app connects men with personal stylists that pick out their clothes. They find the wardrobe that will best fit them. And they can use this app to connect with the stylist. And so it's really enabled them to personalize their service and connect to their customers in a whole new way. The second app that I want to showcase is ADP, the customer that we saw earlier in the video. ADP made an amazing digital sales aid. They wanted to really improve how their sales reps did face-to-face selling. So they have a custom iPad app that has all of their content, their white papers, their videos, their presentations, and everything is linked back to the Salesforce database. So the minute someone back in ADP's marketing department updates a presentation, that sales rep out in the field will have that updated content right on their iPad. So they're always going to be in sync. The last app I want to showcase is actually our own app, so I'm a little biased. But this was our app from Dreamforce. And if any of you came to Dreamforce this year, you probably had this app. Our customers could download it from the Google Play Store or the App Store. And this app really helped them maximize their Dreamforce experience. They could access all of their session data, They could collaborate with their peers and with Salesforce employees. You could even track your shuttle to your hotel in real time, which was my favorite feature of the app. It was awesome. And that was really our version of a customer app. So just to sum up, there's really two ways to build your mobile app portfolio and really close that app gap that we talked about earlier. For all of your employee-facing or CRM use cases, you can use the Salesforce1 mobile app. And when you have those custom use cases, when you want to have an app that maybe your customers can download from the App Store, it has your own icon with your company's brand on it, that's when you want to actually build a custom app using Salesforce1 Mobile Services or Heroku. So I want to just take a few minutes and talk about what's coming up next. We get questions a lot on roadmaps, so I just want to cover a couple of the big items that are coming up next in the Salesforce1 mobile app. First, the really exciting thing about being on the mobile team is that we have constant releases. For those of you who are Salesforce customers, you're used to the 3 releases a year in spring, summer, and winter. But with the mobile app, we're pushing out releases every 5 to 6 weeks. So you can see the blue circles here are all of our releases that are planned for this year. So we're constantly pushing out new features, constantly pushing out new improvements. And here's a couple of the big things that we're really excited to bring you this year. So one of these things actually came out last week. A lot of you probably have it in your hands already, and that's custom branding. So you can actually custom brand the Salesforce app to look and feel like your company. You can have your company's colors, your company's icon for the publisher icon. You can have a splash page. So when your employees are using the app, it looks and feels like you. The next thing I'm really excited about is supporting more mobile platforms. So coming up later this year, via mobile browsers, we'll have support for Windows 8, for BlackBerry 10, and for good technology. And we'll also have offline caching later this year, which is a much requested feature. So you'll be able to access your recent records when you're offline or don't have a cell connection. And I just want to give a few resources that you'll be able to use to get more information, whether you're just getting started using the Salesforce mobile app or you're thinking about it. So we have an awesome success community at success.salesforce.com. We have a bit.ly/success Salesforce1, and this is a group where you can access all of the latest resources, see what's happening in the newest releases, collaborate with your peers, get all your questions answered. In fact, I think Jennifer and Natalie answer about 80% of the questions in that group, so you'll be able to collaborate and get your questions answered from people like Jennifer and Natalie. And we also have a couple great resources. I think they are in the back of the room. I didn't double check. If they're not, they're also in the campground. We have 2 great guides. We have an app getting started guide that actually leads you through those ways to set up the app and start customizing it. And we also have an app guide and gallery. So if you're thinking about building out some custom apps for the Salesforce platform, this app guide and gallery has tons of inspiration to get you started. And last, of course, we talked about it in the keynote, but please submit your Salesforce1 selfie. So if you're using the Salesforce1 mobile app, take a screenshot, put it on Twitter, use the hashtag Salesforce1selfie, and you could win a trip to Dreamforce. I pulled a couple of my favorites up here, actually. We have one of my colleagues here with her wedding dashboard, which I think is awesome, and someone who actually has Salesforce connected to their Pebble, their smartwatch, and also someone who's built out some very cool custom actions. So join the contest, come to Dreamforce. We'd love to have you there. And of course, give us your feedback. Let us know what we did well in this session, what you think we could do better, what you want to hear more of. We come to Chicago a couple times a year, so please give us feedback so we can make sure we're doing our best and doing better every year. So thank you so much for coming, and we will be just outside of the room to answer any of your questions that you have. I'm going to keep Natalie and Jennifer here and make them answer questions with us.